got here late for our ferries.
It's boiling.
Morning, North. Morning, hon.
Morning.
It is the morning of day 10 of our trip. We stayed in Blanc-Sablon last night. Blanc-Sablon is almost like two different towns that are kind of separated. So like in between them, there's the ferry terminal, and we found like this pull off and just like an area. It looks like people do exactly what we're doing now, and maybe like ATV up in the mountains or something. So pretty cool little spot, like no water, but beautiful view out to the ocean. However, last night when we got here, because we had so many side adventures yesterday, you know, trying to find icebergs and finding these 400-year-old whale bones and everything. Well, I guess technically the whale bones could be more than 400 years old, but they're potentially as much as 400 years ago they were left there. But some of them were bowhead whales, and bowhead whales can live for 250 years. So, you know, they could be technically 650-year-old whale bones. Anyways, we are taking a ferry over to the island of Newfoundland, Tori. So we're super excited to go to the island of Newfoundland today. We're gonna go Lanso Meadows. It's an old semi-permanent Viking establishment. I forget exactly the year, but we'll learn all that when we go there, about a couple hundred years before Columbus. And I know that there's some evidence of Vikings being up and down stretches of the Labrador coast as well. Anyway, so Tori and I are gonna make some breakfast and make some food for the kids, and we're gonna hopefully get to our ferry early because it's not very far from here. But yeah, the kids are doing great. Huddy is loving it, doing really good for a kid who's only barely 13 months old. And Wesley's doing great too. You know, Wesley has FOXG1 syndrome. He has special needs, which make things more challenging for him and for mom and dad, because we have to feed him everything by hand because his muscles don't work properly, so he can't really pick up a spoon or food and put it in his mouth. He can't chew in a typical way either, so we have to basically sit there and feed him, make sure he gets enough fluids, all these things, you know, because he can't walk and he's non-verbal. So there's just challenges on figuring out what he wants, what he needs, if he's not feeling well, why. He seems like he's been a pretty happy kid. You know, we're getting that $1 million smile every morning. He loves being outdoors, just hanging out by the fire and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm looking forward to getting on the ferry. It's 32 kilometers to the island of Newfoundland. Anyways, yeah, exciting day. Gonna get a coffee in me. We're gonna give her. That was awkward. If people are gonna be like, "What are you letting your kids watch?" I open the door, all I hear is "deep inside." Pop goes the monkey deep inside. The hell was that? Pop goes the monkey deep inside?
Yeah.
What the f did I just hear? Saved by the newt suit. He's done. Want some of this?
Absolutely.
Just a little.
Yeah. Ready?
Huddy's trying to plug things in. Huddy. Got here late for our ferry, so the next ferry doesn't leave until 3:30 Newfoundland time, but Tori booked online and forgot that you're supposed to show up an hour early, plus we forgot we were an hour earlier as well. Alright Tori, what happened? We gotta document this.
I blew it. So I was all proactive with all of our nights and where we're going and the dates and everything. So I booked this ferry weeks ago, knowing that we'd be here this day and we would be there at 10:30. We got here last night, did things in such a way that we could get up early and just quickly get to the ferry on time because it was leaving at 10:30. But we still somehow managed to miss it because, first of all, where we are here, we're in Quebec. The ferry runs on Newfoundland time, which is an hour and a half difference. An hour and a half, which makes it even more complicated than just an hour or 2 hours or even 3 hours. It's an hour and a half.
So we're in Quebec, but the ferry runs on Newfoundland.
So where we are here, it's 9 o'clock, but Newfoundland time it's 10:30, and the ferry runs on Newfoundland time. So they told me, okay, it leaves at 10:30 Newfoundland time. So I'm like, okay, 9 o'clock, our time. So, we're being all proactive, getting up early, making everything for the kids, blah, blah, blah. Get here for 8:45, which would be 10:15, thinking, I booked my thing, I have my confirmation number, there's a spot for us. Didn't realize, regardless of that, it's still first come, first serve, and you have to be there an hour. They recommend being there an hour early just to get a spot, and there was no room for us. It was already jammed full, even if they're, and so we missed the ferry.
Damn it, we were supposed to go to Lanzo Meadows. We don't have time anymore. Goodbye, Quadjack. Goodbye. Such a bummer. Super windy and wavy day today. Maybe it'll die down, but at least it's not dumping rain and overcast and windy, but some serious waves crashing out there in the North Atlantic. Probably not a big deal for people from around here, but for us it's pretty impressive. Yeah, so we're tucked in a bit off the ocean here, so it's not as horrifically windy. And we pushed past Blanc-Sablon on 138 to where the highway that, 138 is what the Trans-Labrador Highway turns into. And it does abruptly end. And we just pulled over and are hiking up to get a better look at Brador Falls. Drone?
Yeah, I was gonna go get the drone.
Oh,
yeah.
snap. Okay. So it is 6:30 in the morning Newfoundland time, so that means it's 5 in the morning
5 o'clock.
for our time, and also right on the other side of that hill, because we're actually in Quebec, but the ferry runs on Newfoundland time. It's hammering rain. We explored the area a bit yesterday, checked out a waterfall, drove a little bit further down the coast, which was awesome, and found a really nice spot to camp last night, just close to town. Actually a free park, no services and stuff like that, but a nice place to camp, so that was cool. And then we're here bright and early because we're hoping we can get on this ferry. Well, yeah, it's quite busy here with trucks and everything. Apparently the ferry was maybe already backlogged. They can't push our reservation forward because everybody else has a reservation, so they'd be like having to bump someone else. So that means we're just in a first come first serve waiting list, and if it's full we can't get in. If not, we can get in. So we're just here as early as possible with our fingers crossed, hoping that we get on this ferry, but it seems to be filling up real quick.
So many people here, like what? Where are we?
Yeah, we got camp packed up in the driving rain, and hoping we can get on this. We're supposed to be catching a float plane flight tomorrow morning into the mountains to stay in a cabin. Anyways, what can you do? I guess you can be as proactive as possible and be here early and make sure you're there when when people start to get their tickets or whatever. But other than that, it's about the weather and a lot of things out of your hands, so there's no use crying about it, I guess. The ferry's not even here yet.
We still came an hour before they told us. They said come at 7, and we got here at 6, because we're like, oh, we're gonna get there before everyone, and there was already a lineup of people parked in there. And then they can't do anything for us until 7, which is another 20 minutes, so we're just sitting here wasting gas. Please let us on today.
All right.
We're pulling into the laneway.
We're pulling into the laneway. The kayak is not here yet, but we're in the laneway.
Wait, we're getting on a kayak?
Yeah, I can see it. The ferry is called the Quadjack, which is the same thing as kayak. Just a Greenland, I guess, or Labrador, Eastern Arctic spelling. So, by the way, I talked to a guy in there when I was getting my ticket his sister was on it, and she said it was terrifying yesterday because it went across and then it got way worse over on the island, and then they tried going back and it was crazy, and they turned around and bailed, and so they stayed on Newfoundland and then came back at 6 o'clock in the morning today now that the winds have died. But so maybe, you know, it would have been a little more
thank
of
God. That makes me feel better because
Yeah.
I'm so terrified.
They all
of
laughed.
big water.
Yeah. There's the Quadjack. Seasick? Hi. Well, I think it's safe to say that we made it. Newfoundland, baby! First time I've ever been here. It's already amazing.
Well, I left Chattanooga, boy, had $1 and a dime. Headed out from Nashville on the Hard Rock Line. I'm working on that old steamboat and I learned to rob and steal. When my feet had touched dry land, how happy I did feel. Been saving every penny for to make up through the fall. Working for that dollar, but it never adds up at all. Coming around the riverbank, heard the old train whistle sing. The very next thing you hear from me, I've been tied to a ball and chain. Well, come this time tomorrow, reckon I don't know where I'll be. But if it wasn't for that old sheriff, I'd be back in Tennessee. Playing cards and crap games, not looking for the score. And if I ever get back home again, I'll never own no more.
Just took a little detour here on our way to Portland Creek and took a gravel road that goes off of the highway right along the coast. Found a couple cabins down here right on the water where just gigantic waves are just crashing and splashing up on the rocks. Crazy views of this rugged coastline and way out to the North Atlantic. Like, just so freaking beautiful and cool. I feel really blessed and fortunate that I'm sitting in this spot right now. It'd be pretty cool to own one of these cabins too, to say the least.
So rugged, this shoreline here, eh? Wow.
England.
That's Canada. Aren't we on the Gulf of the St. Lawrence?
Oh, yeah. The other way.
Yeah, I was like, we're on the wrong side, hun.
Did you just snicker at me like a geography snob?
Well, I mean, I figured
Wow,
you...
I've been rubbing off on you, huh?
I figured you of all people should know that, hun.
I know, I forgot where I was for a minute.
You lost your sense of direction. What kind of explorer are you?
I don't know. We're here. This is Portland Creek Outfitters, Lenny and Sheller's basically house in Portland Creek, where they run their off-site operations from. So we're pulling in here, meeting up with them, and then tomorrow, if the wind dies, we're going to take a bush plane into those spectacular mountains you see not too far from here. Hopefully Wesley cheers up, eh, bud? Hey, we're that Portland Creek Outfitters, bud. We're just here at Portland Creek's home base at Portland Creek, Newfoundland. It's Shelley's and Leonard's place. They're the ones that own this. It's a father and daughter operation, and we're basically just reorganizing everything so we can get it onto a float plane. We got to really reduce what we're bringing. We can't bring too much weight, and there's a lot of stuff we don't need, so we're kind of going through everything because, you know, it's really windy right now, and we might be able to fly out now, we might not. We might be able to fly out tomorrow morning, depends on the weather. So we want to be ready to go when they give us the thumbs up, because we're flying into the mountains, so on a float plane. So yeah, we're just a little hectic at the moment trying to get everything together, but we're trying to get it dialed in.
You're too hot right now. Hold on. Careful.
Well, we are just outside of Portland Creek. Met up with Leonard Payne of Portland Creek Outfitters today. Had us into his house for a cup of coffee and you know, shared a few stories. Him and some of the people that he works with are hardcore, you know, multi-gen people from Newfoundland and Labrador. Talked to the bush pilot a bit there, and just yeah, had a good little time chatting, and got me super excited to head out by float plane tomorrow to hunt. We were thinking maybe we could have gone today, but low ceiling, wicked wind, it would just be not fun and potentially dangerous. So we're hoping the weather breaks for tomorrow. We found a nice little place to camp. Nobody's here, but a little campground here with RV sites. So we're actually plugged in. Tori and I are having a bit of a feast tonight, cooking up all our last food that could go bad, so it doesn't go bad. So we're just cooking up the last bit of our salmon. We have some honey garlic mousse sausages, some veggies, potatoes and carrots, and yeah, looking forward to diving into dinner. I'm just getting all my last things sort of sorted out, camera gear wise and everything, for the next leg of the adventure. And we're super excited to yeah, get into a whole other adventure and head off into those mountains and check out this cabin we're going to be staying in.
We're gonna have to get Wes out here and feed him some dinners.
hungry.
That little noggin of yours is a lot of exposed surface area. Maybe get up. Yeah, you can use that one. Are there bones?
Yeah.
Or is that good? Oh.
We are now windbound for our float plane charter. We're lucky that we even got across the Strait of Belle Isle because of the winds yesterday, and I'm not even sure if the ferry was able to go back.